or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of the day you're listening to this. It is morning for me right now, and this is another episode of Loving Life with Court. Today, we are going to be talking about becoming more than we are programmed to be. And what this will really tune into is to live a life that is loved. We must become more than we are programmed to be. So to simply survive, that's kind of what everybody's doing right now, just simply surviving, getting through the day-to-day. But to really live that life that we love, that we cherish, and that we value, we need to learn and understand and become more than we are programmed to be. Now, what does this mean? Our minds are programmed for survival, and based on our upbringing, our level and approach of surviving varies. But essentially, we all have basic skills that support our survival. Being aware of our basic needs and living day to day where we are able to, have a roof over our head, make sure that we are fed, having those around us that love us. It varies on what your survival mode and survival instincts look like. But being stuck in this survival mode, relying on our survival instincts every day, what can happen long term is that we get stuck in this, and the survival mode becomes our state of being. So that's what we're going to explore today, is how can we become more than what we're programmed to be, to really live a life that we value and that we cherish and that we love. Being stuck in survival mode, there are various signs to it. And it's so interesting because when I was in grade 10, so I would have been about 15 years old, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And from a very young age, everyone, kind of noticed that there was something a little bit different with me. I had very short-term memory loss. Like, I never remembered anything. If my mom was like, go put your pajamas on, by the time I get upstairs, I'd forget what I was doing. I was all over the place. I had a lot of difficulties with sleeping and relaxing and calming down. I was really quick to react from a very young age. Like, if any kind of judgment or criticism came my way, I was very quick to defend myself. I was always in this defensive mode. And these are just some of the signs of being stuck in survival mode. I'll list some more that maybe may resonate with you. So this is the things like inability to relax, feeling threatened by feedback or criticism, appearing moody, short-tempered, quick to get angry at people, especially those that are close to you, struggling to focus, impaired memory. And these were all the signs that my doctor used to diagnose me with ADHD. I was on medication up until the end of high school. And after that, I was able to find, self-coping mechanisms that were very healthy and beneficial for me. But I still have some of these symptoms that I didn't realize, honestly, until a few days ago when I was preparing for this episode, that I have probably been stuck in survival mode for my entire life. And realizing this has really helped me understand how I can overcome these symptoms and how, yes, I'm going to say it, learn to live a life that I truly love. But let's go back to the point that I've been making where you are programmed to survive. So with survival mode, a lot of that is triggered by trauma from a young age, feeling like maybe you need to care for yourself, that you need to defend yourself, and that maybe you don't have a lot of trust for those that are around you. But going back, like I said, to where you are programmed to survive, what if that is what is holding you back? And I know it sounds a little crazy. Like, if we're programmed to survive, this is how we've been waking up every day with a roof over our head and food in our belly. But what if this is the one thing that has been holding us back, being stuck in the survival mode and holding me back and holding you back? So just taking things day by day is what has you feeling like you can't even begin to know what you want in your future. And this is what being stuck in that survival mode is. You're just trying to live for the day, just living, get through today. Hopefully tomorrow's better. But this is where we become to see blockages in not knowing what we want our future to look like, what you want your future to be, feelings that you want to feel, the achievements that you want to have, and so forth. So how do we get out of this survival mode where we're still able to survive, but it's not our state of being? Well, first is to ask yourself this. And this is kind of a few years ago where I was before I even realized all about, my mind being stuck in the survival mode. But I realized that something needed to change, that I was stuck for a long time. And every day was just the mundane day. I was just trying to get through the day and not really looking into the future. And I asked myself, what drives me? What gets me out of bed right now? And for some of you, it may be your children. It may be your job. It may be your parents. Maybe you're caring for those around you. It may be school. Whatever part of your life you're in, there is some kind of underlying reason on what gets you out of bed. And for possibly you, what gets you out of bed, what is currently driving you, is fear. You have to go to work because then you can't pay your bills, then you can't put a roof over your head. You have to go to school because you need to make money to eventually support, your future children, your current children, find a spouse. You're getting out of bed just to care for your children because you want to be attentive. But is any of this really coming from what drives you and what makes you feel good and what is filling your cup? And that's where we look at fear to inspiration. And the only way you can kill your fear, that you can silence your fear, even if you don't know that that's what's been driving you for so long, is inspiration. And that goes back to, again, asking yourself, what drives you? And if you don't know, think about the last time that you felt excited to do your day. And what were you doing? And that could even go back all the way to being a child. For me, when I was at this point of life was just not that great in my eyes, and I was very much stuck in survival mode, not really realizing it, is I had this memory of being a young, probably 10 years old, and I was at one of my best friend's house, and we were laying on the floor with a really old recording camera, and we were making YouTube videos, and we had alternate personalities, and we were trying spicy foods, and I remember just laughing, belly laughing so hard. And for a long time that, I just watched that video and I wanted to make more videos, and we were constantly making more videos, and it was just so fun for me. It was so fun to put myself out there in the way that I wanted people to see me, not how people possibly may perceive me. And that's what got me back to getting out of that survival mode and doing the things that make me feel excited and doing the things that get me out of bed. Like this morning, I have a Pilates class at 8:30, and I made sure that I was awake before that so that I could record this episode, because it genuinely gets me fucking hyped up to get on this mic and talk to you. So that's what drives me, and that's what inspires me to get up every single day. But there was a point of my life where I couldn't even imagine the life that I'm living now. And for you, maybe you have to go back to your 10-year-old self, possibly even younger, and think about what was getting you excited to be out of bed. Was it new opportunities? Was it sports? Was it moving your body? Was it hanging out with certain people? What kind of energy did that bring you? Was it doing new things? Really go back to that time where you genuinely felt excited to live. And to go one step forward on how to really get excited is do the things you never think of doing, the things you don't have time for, like watching the sunset, dancing around your house the minute you get home from work, bake your favorite dessert, find things that you haven't done in a while, or possibly that you've never done, that brings you back that excitement and love for life. And this is what gets you out of autopilot. Doing new things, doing things that your mind and body are not used to feeling, the sensations. Just for me, dancing around my house, that gets me so hyped up. Playing some music when I'm in a funky mood and I just, maybe feeling blah, or maybe I'm feeling really great, and just playing music. That small way of just romanticizing my life. And that's the next part of really feeling inspired, is romanticize your life, make love to your life, make art out of your life, be there for every moment. This is how, going back to that survival mode, if you have never had someone there for you to be there in the moment, how are you supposed to know how you yourself is supposed to be there in the moment? So it's time to learn that. It's time to learn that we don't need to be stuck in this autopilot. You don't need to be stuck in your survival mode of living day to day, and you can really enjoy life. Visualize the life you want to live, because you really have two choices in life, and it's to stay in the past, hold on to that, and let that become your state of being, or acknowledge the past and let go of it because it no longer will dictate your life that you will live in the future. And it's so wild that such a small portion of our life, and most likely the trauma that you have, somehow relates to your childhood and your upbringing. And this is the smallest portion of our life, but for many, it is the dictator of the rest of our life. But you have the choice. You have the choice to work on these things, getting out of survival mode, getting out of autopilot, and really learning to value, cherish in the life that you live, because it's your life to love, not anybody else's. And that's today's episode. So to get out of this state of survival mode, getting out of the state of autopilot, it's time to really think about what you want in life and crush that fear with inspiration. Find ways to make life inspire you, to inspire yourself, and to do things that want to get you out of bed and that want to get you to live the life that you love. So that's today's episode. I love you so very much, and a friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to your beautiful self.